The U.S. Supreme Court, by a 5-4 vote, has forced gay marriage on all 50 states. Some are calling it a great victory for civil rights. Others are labeling it a travesty. But as Paul Strand reports from the court plaza, it was a moment of great emotion as the ruling was announced.
Of course, gays were ecstatic over this win. They cheered, chanted, and sang as they won the right to marriage nationwide.
Oh, say does that song. I am so excited.
Extreme happiness, extreme happiness.
Relief and joy.
No matter which side of the gay marriage controversy you're on, there's no getting around the fact that this court decision is momentous.
Brian Brown of the National Organization for Marriage warned of dire consequences.
If you put into the law that there's no difference between two men and two women or a man and a woman in marriage, and that those that believe otherwise are the equivalent of bigots.
Brown said there'd be more.
Using the law to punish individuals, churches, and organizations that continue to stand for the truth.
This activist court, by redefining marriage, coming up with its own definition of marriage, something that's not included in the Constitution, will have a profound impact on religious liberty in this country.
Ray Carey is a national gay leader who could help stop the targeting of Christian bakers, florists, wedding photographers, and such who don't want to service gay weddings. CBN News asked if she'd consider a ceasefire now. The answer was a pretty firm no.
We will continue to do work in this country to make sure that everyone's right to their own personal beliefs are protected, but that people actually do get to celebrate, that they get to choose who they want around them when they get married, that they get the cake they want, the flower they want. So religion should not be used as a means to discriminate against others. It should be our own personal beliefs.
But President Obama pointed out many who oppose gay marriage do so out of deeply held beliefs.
All of us who welcome today's news should be mindful of that fact.
And Brown said, really, the fight is just begun.
This is like the passage of Roe. The pro-life movement has grown, not withered away.
Those here for gay marriage say that's it, the issue's settled. But those on the other side say what the court's done here is ignite a new Roe v. Wade. And years of war over this issue are still ahead. Paul Strand, CBN News, the Supreme Court.
Christian leaders are responding with love, concern, and warnings of civil disobedience in response to the court's ruling. Former pastor, governor, and presidential candidate Mike Huckabee calls the ruling an out-of-control act of unconstitutional judicial tyranny. Reverend Albert Mohler, president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, says the challenge for Christians now is to speak the truth in love and to speak love in truth. Love of neighbor means we cannot lie about marriage. Others, like Reverend Samuel Rodriguez, warn that society will no longer tolerate Christian beliefs. The president of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference says the decision, quote, serves as a de facto and legal catalyst for the marginalization of Christians who embrace a biblical worldview. A spokesman for the Southern Baptist says he doesn't expect that pastors will be forced to perform same-sex ceremonies, but he does expect battles over freedom of conscience. Dr. Russell Moore also says churches must offer ministries for those with same-sex attraction.
I'm a short-term pessimist and a long-term optimist because I really don't think the sexual revolution is going to be able to keep its promises or to remain sustainable. And so we need churches and congregations that are going to be able to receive refugees from the sexual revolution who are going to be disappointed by the promises there.
And joining us now with more on this historic case is attorney Jeff Mateer, who provides counsel for the Conservative Liberty Institute. Jeff, as you read this opinion, what is your takeaway when it comes to religious liberty? There's a lot of talk about religion in this case, but a lot of concern about what it means for religious liberty.
Well, I think it is true that all the justices agreed in today's decision that religious liberty is important. And sort of one of the immediate takeaways that I have in the decision is that actually 9 justices agree that religious liberty rights need to be protected in light of a decision which obviously at its core is mandating a redefinition of marriage. Even Justice Kennedy, who's joined by 4 liberals, says in his opinion that we've got to respect the religious liberty rights of people of faith. And so in that respect, I'm at least encouraged. I mean, I know it's something that a lot of religious liberty advocates informed the court through Friends of the Court brief that, hey, if you go this way, you better make sure you're protecting the religious liberty rights of people of faith. And in fact, Justice Kennedy, joined by the 4 liberals, says it in the opinion that somehow that this new constitutional right is not going to trump religious liberty rights, and that we're going to have to respect those rights.
Mm-hmm. What specific areas are you concerned about as you think about what this ruling might mean? I know for some there's been a lot of concern about Christian colleges.
No, and that certainly is a valid concern. I mean, I think all going into this, if the Supreme Court, like it did today, redefined marriage, what does this mean for religious ministries like Christian colleges and faith-based adoption and others? But I think they can take some comfort from Justice Kennedy's language, because it's going to allow us to argue that they don't lose their religious liberty rights. Those First Amendment rights still exist. And so when we go into court, we'll be able to battle on those issues.
All right. And going forward, what are the practical outcomes of this decision? Should we expect to see same-sex marriage legal right away? What are we looking at?
I mean, I think it's now sent back to the states, and for the governors and the legislatures and the state attorney generals to now take this opinion, look at it, and see how it applies in their states. I think at the end of the day, however, the Supreme Court has spoken on this issue for now, and states are going to have to adapt. I think the serious question is, how are state legislatures going forward going to protect the religious liberty rights of people of faith, for faith-based businesses, for faith ministries? And I think state legislatures are going to have to be very active in seeking those protections.
All right. Well, Jeff Mateer with the Liberty Institute, thank you so much for your insights.
Thanks, Heather.